What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to bring you my 6-month review of the Canon R6 and the RF mount in general. So I've had this for about 6 months. I previously had a Nikon Z6 II, Z6 Z1, Z6 I, then Z6 II, then a Sony A7R4, and then now this. Too many cameras, I know, but I'll give you an idea of, I've had this for a while. I am not a pro photographer. I do mainly family travel, and I use it for video pretty frequently, so I'll kind of get an idea of what it's like coming from that perspective. $24.99 is what this cost. It is a 20 megapixel backside illuminated sensor. Nothing too fancy there. Supposedly it's the same one as in the Canon 1DX. So we'll just go over kind of the body ergonomics and then go into all the other pluses and minuses of the RF system in general. So the body on this is really good. I don't think it's quite as nice as the Nikon Z6 II. I kind of liked how that one felt a little bit better. It's way better than the Sony ones. The Sony A7R4 is their newer body, which has a beefier overall actual grip on it. It is a really nice body. There's really no wrong answer with any of these. I just feel this one's more simple to use. There's not as much customization with the buttons, but you can basically customize any of these buttons on the back to do whatever you want. So that's something to just, if you can go to a Best Buy and actually play around with these, that would be what I would recommend. But they're all really good bodies. I prefer the Nikon Z series first, and then this as second, and then the Sony systems as my third option. But overall build quality is great. I haven't had any issues. I've used it on the beach. I've used it in some light rain. It does have a little curtain that comes out and covers up the sensor. Let's see if I can show you here so you don't have to worry about the sensor getting all dirty. So that is good, all weather sealed. I don't have any issue with any of the Canon somewhat even semi-pro grade bodies. They're really good build quality, and Canon's customer service is really good. So if you do need to get this serviced, it's not outsourced how say Sony does it. They outsource all their service. They're a large company, so I understand that. EVF's really good. I don't know how many million dots are in it, but the EVF and the back LCD screen is good. The LCD screen is not as good as the Nikon Z6 II. It was a little bit larger. I think this is a 3.2 inch screen. This is a 3-inch screen, but it is responsive touchscreen. It's really good quality. I haven't had any issues with either one of those. I don't use the EVF all that much, but I do have it set up to where basically if I hit the AF on button, it will switch to the electronic viewfinder, and then if I want to do the back display, I could do that. So you can customize these back buttons to do just about whatever you want. So that's good. The menu system's really easy. I find it most of all between the Nikon, Sony, and the Canon. Once you get them set up and get familiar with them, they're not a big plus or minus. There's nothing really too fancy there. The body is a little bit larger than the Sony systems, which is a good or bad thing depending on how you take that into account. Excellent burst mode, so you can get 12 frames per second and then 20 with the electronic, which is really good if you're doing sports or kids moving around a lot. It's a really good. I'll kind of go into a gripe there. While this may have 12 frames per second, these STM lenses aren't very good at focusing. I previously had the 50mm 1.2L, which is a USM, has 2 USM motors in it. Its focus was spot on, really good. This one, it misses a lot of shots, especially indoors where the shutter count's a little low, or the shutter speed's a little low. It will miss a decent amount of shots, so keep that in mind. STM motors are video focused. If you go to Canon's website and look up this lens, it will basically say that it's video focused. So that's something, while it may be fast at focusing, 12 frames per second, really good at tracking, similar to the Sony systems out there. But the lenses are where you're gonna be a downfall there, and I'll kind of talk about that. Video's really good on this. You got Canon C-Log, C-Log 2, C-Log 3. You can go to Canon's website and get their LUTs, so it's really easy to grade these things if you want to do it on a pinch. I know nothing about color grading or shooting in C-Log, but I've shooting C-Log 3 and I've had real good luck, and I really like playing around with the files on that. It does get a little warm from time to time, but it's never shut off on me. It does have a 30-second record limit, which kind of stinks. And using it as a webcam isn't, Canon software just isn't very good implemented for that, so it's not as easy as the new Sony a7 IV. Allows you to basically just plug and play, so you just plug it in, shows up as a webcam, and you're good to go. This is a little bit more clinky than that. 2 SD card slots. They all have 2 card slots now. You do need a little bit faster ones for to shoot in C-Log, so make sure you get some good high quality. I think it's USH2, I believe. I have a Lexar one, which I wouldn't recommend. I'd probably get a SanDisk one because the advertised speeds on this, if you look at their website closely, they aren't as fast as they advertise on the card. So then I have a SanDisk one in there. So that's really it. Switching from video to photo is really easy. If you're a wedding photographer, maybe a little different. I'm not in a big crunch to where I have to switch really fast. So that's it with that. Really happy with it. Now for the RF mounts. I love the Canon L lenses. I don't use any of the zooms. I'm not a big zoom person. I don't really think they're very useful in my purpose. But the 50mm 1.2L was an absolute dream lens, minus the size. So that's what you have to take into account with the RF lens, is that they went a different route. They went with fast, heavy lenses. So you have all the zoom ranges. I think there's a 28 to 70 f2, which is like the size of a small child. The 50mm was really heavy, I think 2 pounds almost. Their STM ones, the 50 1.8, 35 1.8, are fairly light lenses, but the focusing for photo I think is not good. At least I've missed a ton of shots with this since I sold my 50 1.2. That was just way better at focusing. It just locked on a lot better. This is a little slow, and I do miss a lot of shots. I'm talking like 50-50 hit rate going from that lens to this lens. It's a $400 lens. It's made for video. At least when you go to Canon's website, that's what they said its main purpose for the STM motor is for video, because it allows for really smooth focusing. So if you're not invested in a system and you want something smaller with more lens options, and you don't care about the customer service being outsourced or warranties being outsourced, I would go with Sony 100% down the line. They have more body options. They have way more lens options, especially ones that are smaller, more compact, cheaper. For example, if I was getting that, I get the 35 1.4, which is $1,400. Canon doesn't make a 35 1.4, so there's not many options there. And they make there's a really good Sigma 65mm f2, which is like $500 or $600, which is a really good steal if you ask me for that price point. Canon, you have 2 routes. You have very budget-oriented video lenses. Some people will say this is not for video, but it literally says on Canon's website that it's video centered. So take that into account for what you want. You have really expensive, heavy L glass, a lot of zooms, very few primes. So you have the 50 1.2 and the 85 1.2. Oh no, you do have the 100 macro L lens out there also, but I don't know anyone that's really gonna buy. That's really a specialty lens. So they have kind of done a weird thing with their lenses. I probably would have started with the 1.4Ls first, maybe. But again, this may come from a different perspective. People are doing weddings, maybe they use zooms more because it's more, makes more sense just to have that one lens that can do it all. But for someone like me, if I wasn't already invested in this, I would probably go the Sony route, even though I love the body. If I could get the Canon R6 with the Sony 35 1.4 G Master and the 24 1.4 G Master and some of their Sigma options for the cheaper, longer range lenses, I would never sell this. But they don't have those options. There's all kinds of rumors they're gonna have those lenses down the line, but who knows when. I find that Canon's lenses, for example, I was looking for the 70 to 100 2.8 L lens, just because I thought about maybe that being a better option than the 50 1.2, just to give me a little more versatility. And it's almost never in stock anywhere. And most of the Sony lenses, like you can get all their G Master lenses are all in stock, from the 20 to the 35 to the 24 to the 50 to the 135. All their primes are in stock. You can get them that day if you want. Whereas the other More luxury L series lenses are always out of stock, it seems like. So I don't trust Sony to release lenses fairly quickly, which isn't their fault. It's somebody's fault. It's COVID and there's all kinds of chip shortages. So, but I think if they're really wanting to keep people like me in the system, I think they need to do a better job with their lens choices out there, because I'm borderline switching over to Sony just because I love their lens choices and their size, and they don't cost as much. There's just way more options out there in terms of lens choices for my needs. So that's it. Some other small things. Battery life's been really good. I have 2 batteries, but generally I just use the one for most of the time. It's been really good. And that's it. It's a really great body. It's a great system. If you know that this is for you, you can get the R6. If you need the more megapixels, get the R5. That's a significant jump in price at like $1,400, I believe. And that's it. Be happy with what you got. And if you have any comments, questions, leave them below. This is shot on an iPhone 13 Pro, so I don't know what the video or audio quality is going to be like, but that's it. Have a good rest of the day, weekend, whatever is out there, and I'll see you guys next time.